Mercedes calls the new C-Class your comfort zone, but this very one is for those who want more than just comfort. This is the new C300D, and the focus of this review is going to be on the 300D in its name. Some facts and figures first. The 300D gets you 265 horsepower and 550 Newton meters, and the source of that power is Merc's 2-litre 4-cylinder diesel engine. It's the same engine you'd find in a 200 horsepower C220D, but as the numbers make amply clear, it's been tuned for a whole lot more punch here. Also, like the other Cs on sale in India, the C300D gets a 48-volt mild hybrid system that chips in with 20 horsepower and 200 Newton meters under hard acceleration. The power goes solely to the rear wheels via a 9-speed automatic gearbox. And all of these ingredients come together very well. ESC off, left foot on brake, right foot on accelerator, here we go. That is diesel grunt with a helping hand from the electric system and 100 kph. Mercedes claims a 5.7 second 0 to 100 kph time. It sure feels as fast as it says on the box. And even if that 0 to 100 kph time is something that you won't really make use of every day, kick down acceleration is something that you will. Press down hard on the throttle and you get this instant thrust from the engine. It just livens up your journey, and it's something that will make you feel that your extra 5 lakhs over the 220D has been very well spent. The mid-range punch is exciting, but you do hear the engine give its best too. As 4-cylinder diesel engines go, the C300D's 2-litre diesel engine scores reasonably well on refinement. It's quiet enough at idle, and even when you're driving at slow city speeds, you won't really hear much from the engine bay. It's just that when you press a bit harder, there is a bit of a groan from up front, and when you keep pressed, that groan develops into a pretty audible boom. A 6-cylinder unit would be smoother and quieter, but also more expensive and less efficient. Speaking of which, even after a hard day of driving, you can still see double-digit numbers on the instrument cluster for fuel economy, and that is a very refreshing sight in our times of crazy fuel prices. On winding roads too, the C300D impresses. The steering is just delightful. It's very smooth, and though it's an electric unit, it feels very well oiled, if you know what I mean. Sport mode does add a bit of playfulness to the experience. The steering gets more feelsome, weightier, and ESP goes into sport mode, which allows the tail end to get a bit frisky. You can string a series of corners with a big fat grin on your face. The thing is, as tidy as the C-Class is in its handling, it could have been a bit better tied down. And that's partly because even the C300D doesn't get adaptive dampers that would have given keen drivers a bit more adjustability. The C does feel well damped and sure-footed at high speeds. As far as low-speed manners go, well, the C300D rides on 18-inch rims, so the low-speed ride is a bit busier than what you get on rivals. The trouble is ground clearance. You have to be very careful over speed breakers, and on the worst of the lot, you have to go supercar style and just approach them diagonally. If you're wondering why I've not touched upon the AMG in this C's name as yet, it's because this is an AMG line. That's to say, its AMG-ness is restricted to a sportier look outside and in. The AMG elements like the larger star-studded grille, larger 18-inch rims, side skirts and sportier bumpers easily establish the C300D as a more potent C-Class. AMG line or not, the C-Class interior will wow you. Now Renuka has already given you a tour of the latest Gen C Class's interior, and in fact you can watch her full review by clicking on this link above. But let me reiterate, this cabin is an exquisite place. Cabin quality is really a few notches above rivals, and the smallest of things like these switches and even larger controls like these air conditioning vents operate beautifully and are great to touch. Now, of the differences between the C200 and C220D and this C300D is the fact that this is available in AMG line trim, and what that gets you are slightly different colors on the inside. You have a gloss finish on the dashboard with a carbon fiber like weave, which looks quite sporty. And you also get a sportier flat bottom steering wheel with twin spokes on either side of the steering boss, which looks really cool. Of course, the main talking point inside the new C-Class is this 11.9-inch touchscreen. It's a portrait-oriented unit and it's really slick. Thing is, you need some time to get the hang of it, and what's missing are manual controls for even certain basic functions like air conditioning. Still, you do get wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay, which is really nice. And of the other things, there's the 12.3-inch digital dials. Again, very high res, great graphics, and you can also choose between themes as per your liking. And finally, the front seats themselves, very comfortable, and they also get adjustable thigh support. You don't get seat ventilation, but a two-part sunroof, clever LED headlights that adjust the beam when you're driving, and brilliantly done ambient lighting are included. Safety features include active brake assist, but we did find the system too sensitive for our driving conditions. Over to the back. Talking rear seat space, to give some perspective, I'm just under 6 feet tall. The front seat is set to my driving position and I have a reasonable amount of knee room. I also have space to tuck my feet under the front seat, but I'd still describe this rear seat experience as being cozy. Now, someone of my height will find their hair brushing against the roof lining, and of course a third passenger will be a really tight fit here. What also takes away from the experience is this high center tunnel. Now, as for the seat itself, the seat is nicely cushioned, but the seating position is slightly knees up, as you can see, and the rear seat squab is also a bit short. As for practicality, you get a reasonable 455 liters of luggage room in the boot, but pack in a spare wheel and usable space reduces dramatically. Priced at 61 lakh rupees ex-showroom, the C300D costs a good 5 lakh rupees more than the C220D, which is itself pricey by segment standards. There's also the matter of a slightly firm low-speed ride, a compromise that not everyone will be ready to make. On the flip side, the C300D has the power, the punch, and the handling. And for all the performance, the C300D is relatively economical too. So essentially, the C300D is a luxury sedan if you're someone looking more for front seat thrill than rear seat chill.